Welcome back to Newsmaker Sunday. We are with incumbent Winnebago County Executive Mark Harris. Mark, one of the things you claim to be most proud of in your record during your tenure, spending has increased less than 1.5% since you took office. What do you think was the key to keeping that spending down?
Well, Act 10 requires us, in fact, to keep the spending down. But the county executive is the one that has to work out budgets that do that. And so you have to be very careful with recurring expenses. And you just have to watch all the numbers. You really have to find some significant efficiency every couple of years to make those numbers work. And we've been able to do that. We closed a Huber Center and replaced it with electronic monitoring, which saved about $1 million a year. We moved the services to the frail elderly and the developmentally disabled into a family care district, and that saved us over time, initially $1 million, then eventually up to $4 million annually. And all those savings are the only things that can allow you to operate on the net new construction numbers that the state allows you to work with. But in the meantime, I've significantly decreased the county's debt. As of April 1st, we'll pay off a large principal payment and call to bond issues. And when we do that, the debt will be less than half of the outstanding debt when I took office.
How do you think you managed that to decrease that debt so much?
Well, that's been a focus my whole career here, because if we want to hold down the homeowners' taxes, there's been this kind of shift from other categories of taxpayers. You know, there's been the dark store loopholes, there's been TIF districts, there's been a phase out of the personal property tax. I'm not saying whether those things are good or bad, but they all shifted taxes towards homeowners. And to offset that, I have to cut that debt service rate every year.
You point to one of your accomplishments as being improving the efficiency of the county. What do you mean specifically by that?
Well, we've really controlled the number of new hires in the county. And when we have added people, we've generally added them in areas where it would save us costs. For instance, in the human service area, we've added a number of social workers, and that's allowed us to reduce the number of juvenile placements we make with the state. It's allowed us to keep people out of Winnebago mental health on some borderline cases. If you can treat people at home, you get better results for them, and you get much lower costs. You know, Winnebago mental health is about $900 a day. The juvenile programs at Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake, probably about $500 this year, but expected to go up to $700 or $800 per day. If you can avoid those placements and provide the needed services to keep those people in their homes, that's much more efficient.
And it's not like you are not spending money. Your county built a 168-bed nursing home, Parkview, while other counties were closing theirs. How did you pull that off?
Well, I'm really proud of that. We had two very old buildings, and our staff in our nursing homes always had an excellent reputation. But by building one new efficient building with individual rooms instead of shared rooms, we actually picked up a lot of efficiencies in labor, and that allowed us to continue to maintain a quality nursing home. And in fact, Newsweek named our nursing home as the best nursing home in Wisconsin recently.
And you have been working to lower the cost of nursing homes. What did you see there? What was the problem there as far as the prices?
Well, what we're trying to do is provide an alternative to people that have exhausted their savings prior to needing a nursing home. Because if you go with the private sector nursing homes, they need you to be a private pay patient or resident for several years in order to have any chance of covering their costs. But the county nursing homes are subsidized by the tax levy. So we can take people that wouldn't otherwise get into a nursing home and let them live out their life with some comfort and dignity. And the county is very supportive of taking care of our own in that way.
Another accomplishment that you point to was eliminating the wait list for Lakeland. How did you do that? Why did you see that as such an accomplishment?
Yeah, that involves the human services to the developmentally disabled and the frail elderly. And uh, we formed a family care district with Fond du Lac and Manitowoc. The three of us joined together, even though we don't physically connect those three counties. But we formed a family care district. And by forming a family care district, that's operated different than the voucher system where the frail elderly and developmentally disabled had been cared for in the past. And it operates with uh, no waiting period, no long lines of people trying to get into the services or long waiting lists, and instead provides everybody who's eligible with services, but they try and manage the cost of those services.
All right, Mark, we can't talk politics in Wisconsin without talking road conditions. And Winnebago County has some of the most well-traveled highways in the entire state. So have you had any issues, any problems with maintaining all of that roadway?
Well, it does put some demands on the highway department because the county highway departments are the ones that salt and remove the snow. So it has given us some challenges. You know, we've got some new flyovers that connect different highways after they expanded 41 and it added additional lane miles. But we've been able to manage that, and the state does compensate that well. And actually the roads in the county, because 41 was improved and a number of the county roads have had improvements on them, ours are actually well above the average for PACER ratings.
Now, you have invested millions of dollars into your highways, also into bridge projects over the past 10 years. Were these improvements done because you just had to do them, or were you more looking to the future?
Well, you've got to have a schedule that allows for replacements in bridges on a schedule that matches the life of those structures. And so we do follow that, but basically the highways that get improved are the ones that need the improvement. But we are pretty aggressive at doing that. And of course, there's always a state and federal contribution to highway projects. And right now, the state's participation in those projects is really pretty good.
And are there any infrastructure projects that you are looking at right now? Any problems that need taken care of right now?
We're in pretty good shape. I mentioned an aviation business park. We just have a nub of a runway that goes into that park. And as we develop that park, we'll have to have a complete taxiway so that the business park can be connected to the airport.
We are with Winnebago County Executive Mark Harris, and we have more to come with him, so please stay with us.